Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk, it's the week before the Super Bowl. Me, Omar Carmona, Diamante Williams, sit down for the Sunday Night Talk. We have an action-packed show lined up for you, so you're not going to want to miss this at all. So much to talk about. Before we get to the show, though, February 11th, that's this Friday, catch me doing live stand-up comedy at Flappers Comedy Club, 9:30 p.m. That's right. Come out. Come see me. Come see a show. Hit me up for tickets. Hit up the club as well. flapperscomedy.com is where you go. Come see a stand-up show. I was lucky enough to get on a couple shows this week, so I'm really looking forward to it. Come out. We want to have a good show. Today on the show, well, even though there was no football, doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of stuff to talk about. Omar is here. Diamante is here. We talk about the week that was before the Super Bowl. Headlines such as the Brian Flores story, the Tom Brady retiring story, which we get into, and we parlay it into something I like to call the Bradys. That's right, Tom Brady themed awards and food for thought this week. Not to mention, we talk about Omar giving up drinking as well. You get to hear his insights on that. We're rolling. The Super Bowl is here. We do it all. We do a special big picture question at the end, which I always love. So the Sunday Night Talk is here. Are you ready for the Super Bowl? Well, if you're not, here's your chance. Listen to our breakdown. The Sunday Night Talk with me, Omar Carmona, and Diamante Williams starts right now. All right, it is 8:50 West Coast time, Sunday night. Omar is with me. Diamante Williams is with me. We're the week before the Super Bowl, yet there's still news stories to talk about. In fact, I just saw a news report that somebody actually tackled somebody in the Pro Bowl, so we'll keep tabs on that. Not sure.
You were lied to. Somebody lied to you.
I know. We need to fact check that. I don't believe it. I don't believe any news story at first glance. We'll fact check that tackle. So the Sunday before, we had the Pro Bowl, we have Olympics. There's still a couple of NFL stories floating around, but let's start with you, Omar. The Sunday before the Super Bowl, how do you spend it? What do you do? Are you amping up for the Super Bowl, or are you relaxing?
I don't watch the Pro Bowl. That's for damn sure.
Didn't watch any Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl, nothing. Especially when I saw that. I had friends sending me memes and all this that they were playing touch football. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the lawyer in me, but if I'm an agent, I call my client up and I say, "Nope, you're not playing in that damn game because I'm not gonna let my client risk an ACL for a game of two-hand touch in Vegas."
Can I offer the opposite side of that argument? Those players, what do the players make? 70 grand or something for the appearance? If you're getting 10% of that, it'd be like, hey, yeah, go out there, but take it easy. Hey, no reason to tackle anybody. You got to get me, I got to get my beak wet too. Me and
they need to play flag football. That's what they need to play.
Would people watch that, do you think?
Yeah, just make it a flag football game.
Something, me and Dino were talking about it. Something has to be done because we need an all-star game. We know we can't play full speed, but we need something. I don't know what the answer is, but the Pro Bowl is a shell of itself.
You go back to the skills challenge. You have the quarterbacks throw at targets, and you have obstacle courses like they do the days leading up.
Did you watch the skills challenge? Because it was on Saturday this year. I watched it.
I'd much rather watch a skills challenge. Yeah. I'd like to see who would win on a deadlift between Trent Williams, and some guys like that. Just big suckers that know how to. I'd like to see that. But to watch that, to watch Mac Jones get touched 3 times. And then to still run 70 yards and the cameras on him.
That was great. That was great. They had the skills like the day before, and they had a couple of cool wrinkles. The receivers were doing this thing where they jump off a trampoline and try and catch a ball and do a flip. I appreciate seeing these guys just doing crazy stuff with their athletic ability. And then they had one thing where it was recreate a famous catch, and they were trying to recreate the helmet catch, the David Tyree one. Nobody did it, but I was like, okay, at least it's a creative thing. And then they had just a straight up like 40-yard dash where they put 4 guys against each other and they race. So that I thought was cool, but it does bring me back to like, all right, QBs, I just want to see how far you can throw the ball. I just need to have this information in my head. How far can you throw it?
Yep.
So that was enjoyable. Other than that, Pro Bowl, is there anything cool about the Pro Bowl at all?
Nothing.
I mean,
I'm inclined to agree.
But where did this come from, though?
Mind.
Like all this caution and all that. Like, where did this come from? Because it used to not be like that. They always show Sean Taylor's hit on the punter.
The punter. That was great.
Year, right? Just blasting him. Like, when did this start? All this, ticky-tack shit, man.
Yeah. It needs a reworking somehow, some way. We need some version of the game. Before we go on, I don't know if you remember last week, we judged if quarterbacks could throw the ball 65 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I got a clip to show you guys. You may remember that we all voted Tom Brady cannot throw the ball 65 yards.
Look how old
done
is
a
this?
brilliant job to this point, 3rd and 20.
It's older.
Brady rolls, heaves,
Throws it from the 12.
lost downfield.
It goes about to the 20.
Webster.
He almost
threw
caught
it
that, too.
He almost caught it. Yeah, that ball was
that.
a 70-yard throw. So my apologies to Tom Brady. You can throw the ball over 65 yards.
But I thought we were talking about now.
Yeah,
we were.
now.
We were.
talking
That's
about
true.
now.
Okay. All right. Let's get on to some important stuff. Omar, can we talk about your drinking? Are you still not drinking?
I am still dry. It's going to be 6 months in a couple weeks. And so far, so good. I haven't cheated at all and feeling pretty good about it. But this is going to be the first time ever, probably since I was in 8th grade or a freshman in high school, that I made it a whole football season without at least a beer.
Why did you stop drinking? Did you say do you want to be healthier? Do you want to lose weight? Did your family sit you down? Did you have an incident? Was there an incident? Are you willing to talk about this?
I'm gonna call an audible on your legal ramifications so we can just get right to it. Yeah, with this job comes a drinking problem for some. Okay, and I'm open about it. COVID really changed things because of the pandemic. After school programs were closed for kids, so that means like my day would end at 3:00 in the afternoon. So I'd have to be with kids from like 3 on till 8:00, and then at 8:00, when they go to sleep, I gotta get to working. But hey, if I'm gonna be working at 8:00 at night, I might as well make it enjoyable. and when you do that, five nights a week, and then have fun on the weekends, that's just a recipe for disaster. So I had to slow it down.
Well, I think I know you, but maybe I don't. I never saw you as a drinker, like a partier. We've gotten wasted together, but you always seemed under control. Am I wrong? Did it ramp up? Did Carmona go into overdrive?
No, I think, I think the body definitely went into overdrive probably sometime last summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would you drink?
Bourbon.
Oh, really? Jesus.
I didn't even bother with beer anymore.
But it's been 6 months, and it seems like you've kept it up. You don't miss it.
Every day I miss it.
What's the hardest part?
Not drinking.
Well, when do you miss it the most? Don't pull your lawyer double talk on me.
You miss it after a Sunday night football game. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like unwind, and you miss it on something like tonight. I wasn't like a big time day drinker or anything like that, but I could probably put I was probably putting back at least half a bottle every night.
Wow. All right, so this is a good decision. I didn't know you went that hard.
Oh yeah.
At home. What about you, D? Are you gonna give up drinking?
Fuck no.
I knew the answer to that. As in,
Nah, but I don't. I don't drink that much. I'll have my little spurts when I drink every night, and I'll have a beer and a shot to go to bed. There was a point in time where I started buying bottles of Goldschlager again. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
And I had it, and I just had it in the freezer because that thing gets you a little tipsy pretty fast, right? A couple shots and you're good. But no, I have my moments, but like right now, got a little bit of crown apple in the glass.
Yeah.
We're feeling good today, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you. A Sunday night, pour yourself a drink is always a good feeling. Yeah, I remember. Well, I think it was last year. Me and Omar did the Sunday Super Bowl show, and we got wasted on this show, and that was
pretty drunk.
That was pretty good. That was a fun show. And then the last time I got super duper wasted, I think we did a show a couple days after, and I told you how I threw up in my brother's mother-in-law's bushes on Thanksgiving Day. I have not been that wasted in a long, long time. So I am not a big drinker, but times when I go too hard, I go too far. It goes too far, and then I pay for it the next day. I am not in good shape, and then I renounce all drinking.
I think that was my problem too, is because not only was I drinking a lot, but then my day starts at 5 a.m. because I try to get. I'm an early riser as far as work. I just try to do a couple hours work before the kids wake up. So I mean, we're talking like I'm going to bed at 12:30 in the morning, feeling pretty good, and then wake up at 5 a.m. So I'm on 4.5 hours sleep. So I was pretty sure I was on my way to a heart attack.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a good decision then.
Yeah.
All right, responsible Omar. Maybe this is a good thing then.
Yeah.
I got two headlines before we go into the meat of it. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this one, but no NFL. But don't worry, we'll have an NFL controversy this week. Brian Flores has the controversy.
Happened?
It's a good question, like what happened? There's a question that leads to another question. My favorite part is even for every NFL controversy, Bill Belichick still has his hand in it somehow. It's not even his team, his anything. He's like, don't worry, I'm still involved in this.
Well, what's amazing is that like last week, it's like the news broke of Tom Brady on championship weekend. It's like, all right, Tom, like you probably could have waited till after the Super Bowl,
Yeah, so we all thought he was going to do it.
I thought it would have still been the same pomp and circumstance had he retired after the Super Bowl, but he did it. And I said, you're kind of taking away the luster of, four teams, that are fighting like dogs for it. And then like this coaching news just broke and it really put the NFL upside down. It really did. And I bet you Goodell's just so pissed because where the conversation should be about the Rams in Los Angeles with Matt Stafford against Joe Burr, as I like to call him. I love that nickname. It's not about that right now. It's about this problem with minority hires, people making a sham of the Rooney Rule, and then obviously a clear cover-up. And then on top of that, then you got this idiot Dan Snyder, who, for the life of me, I can't understand why he still has an NFL franchise.
Yep.
And the fact that like now that's taken away a lot of attention too. I mean, for Congress to now be involved, saying they're going to try to put pressure on Snyder to open up the findings of the investigation, which obviously has implications with other teams, has implications with the John Gruden lawsuit. Yep. I mean, this was the last thing Goodell wanted this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why even have an investigation if nobody's going to know what's happening? That's weird to me. What was this to please people?
Right. I don't know. It
so
seems like this is
you were investigating in the first place.
Yeah.
It seems like this is going to be our off-season story. And this is, I think this is the tip of the iceberg. Like in another month or two, we're going to be on to some other version of story that we found out from this story. There's just so many directions where this could go wrong because it's like the NFL or the public is wagging their finger and say, hey, you didn't take the interview seriously that we forced you to have. It's like, wait, okay, we have a bunch of things wrong with this statement here. And then the fact that Bill Belichick tips the scales and says like, hey, this is what happened. They're like, hey, how do you know this stuff? It's the NFL is essentially the White House with footballs. There's backdoor deals happening. There's behind doors arguments, and people are friends with people over here. People are friends with people over here. And we have to piece it all together over the span of 6 months.
Are you two conspiracy theorists that you believe that Belichick sent that text on purpose?
I was about to say that. Do you think he could have said that on purpose? Like, who knows?
I'm all in. I'm all in on this, Omar. Yes, I am. He's up to something.
He's that dumb. He's not that dumb.
This could have been. He's not. That's the thing. He's not dumb.
Yeah.
You know, he's a very meticulous. He's very calculating in everything he does.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't this be the ultimate FU to Goodell in the NFL after Deflategate, Spygate?
I'm with you. Sign me up.
Brady suspension. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because stuff like that is done over the phone, not via text. You know what I mean?
Right.
And in this day and age,
where there's a track record there.
Yes.
It's not on text. It's over
when
the phone.
everything has a digital footprint, I don't know why anybody texts anybody. I don't know why anybody emails anybody. And then I think, well, wait a second. These are only the things we know about. They are not putting the important stuff. So what do we not know? This is going to be our off-season story. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh, this story is far from over. And the thing is, Sunday, we're just going to get a reprieve from it. You know, it's just going to be a little break on Sunday. But then come Monday, after we talk about the performances and the glitz and the glamour of a Super Bowl and the commercials, Tuesday morning, it's going to be like, what is Goodell going to do?
Yes.
And that's going to dominate the storylines until the draft.
Yep.
Well, you always said you wanted football all year round, Omar. We might have it this year. We might have football stories
Don't they have a USFL
nonstop
going on
Rock
this year?
star.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
Dwayne Johnson's
Right,
got the
that's true.
USFL coming back, so
Yeah.
maybe this time I'll watch.
Real quick, what did you think about the Washington team going with the Commanders name?
The commies.
Terrible.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I was
commies.
like, they can
Why
call
the
you the
commies?
commies now. Why? This is a bad idea. Then I think Dan Snyder did this on purpose.
Going command. I don't know. It's there's so
Commando's
many
good.
there's so many play on words. But you know, when I was reading up on it, all these other ideas were great ideas, but it's so true, you know, the way the laws are written up, you know, to get trademarks and all this stuff. There's so many legal loopholes that you like in order to get the red tails, you know, how difficult that would be. The red wolves, that would be, I mean, these are a lot of money goes into this. So that's why you pick a lame name like Commanders, because no one's using the Commanders.
Maybe that's why it came to be. It's just such a lame name, don't you think?
I would have preferred the football team.
Me too.
Would you?
I would have been like, I'd have just kept the football team, watching the football team.
And I like the Alabama style helmet when you just put their number on the helmet.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like
That is awesome.
we all said the football team name was dumb, but 3 years in, we probably would have accepted it. We probably would have been like, yeah, it's fine. Maybe we'll do the same thing with the Commanders. Who knows?
Yeah.
How about Washington
had
football
a
team?
throwback feel.
Yeah. How about Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins? I would have been okay
like
with that.
I don't have a problem with it. I never had a problem with the Redskins, but it was I think this is 65% Dan Snyder doing. He wants to kind of make waves.
He's got to do something stupid before
he wants to do stuff like
he's on his way out.
Well, no.
He likes this stuff.
What he needs to do is he needs to divert attention to where it's going right now. And you know, a big thing that was going on that you read between the lines is that his wife, was it last year or 2 years ago, was named CEO. I mean, that tells you that she's got the goods on him, and before that marriage falls apart, she took care of herself.
Yep.
There's so much going on here. Do you remember a few years back, before Peyton Manning retired, his wife was the majority owner or maybe minority owner of was it the Titans or some, maybe a minor league something, because the rule was no NFL player can be an owner of such and such organization. So he was like, yeah, but what about my wife? So there's these deals going on all the time that we don't know about.
And there were rumors back then that their marriage wasn't great. And so, I think it all comes down to these spouses saying, hey, I'm going to get mine before this thing blows up. And another thing to look out for is now the sale of the Denver Broncos after, Brian Flores basically came out and said, Elway was drunk with Joe Ellis the day he came to interview me.
Yep. And then they put him on sale the very next day.
We have a whole offseason of show content if you really wanted it. The NFL does not end.
Yeah.
It never it's House of Cards. House of Cards on the field. But the biggest story of the week was Tom Brady finally retires. And that's where we're going to devote the majority of our show to. He retires, he announces it. Brady is out of our lives. I wrote down that, he's been in the league 21 years. This is a player that essentially has been in my life for the majority of my football viewing. So just the impact that he had was, number one, he was the savior quarterback. He was on the best team. He was seemingly infallible. He was always a good guy. Everybody had good things to say about him. And then I sort of thought he was what we needed to get out of 9/11. Not get out of 9/11, but to put a positive spin or have something to look forward to coming out of that. Coming out of that year. They won the Super Bowl. It was a great story.
Right.
And then we followed the career from there. There was ups and downs, and he was our guy. He was our representation of the NFL for those 21 years. So, Omar, your thoughts of Tom Brady moving forward, his legacy, his career. Did you like him? Did you not like him? How do you feel about him not being in our football lives anymore?
I think I can say that at one point, I don't care what, although, people make fun of the Patriots for having such a bandwagon following, because let's be honest, pre-Tom Brady, nobody was rooting for Bledsoe's Patriots. Nobody. Right. Okay. Yeah. Nobody was rooting for Grogan's Patriots. Okay.
No Scott Zolak fans?
No Scott Zolak and nothing like that. Hugh Millen, you can name them all. Nobody cared about them. Tom Brady comes in. Yes, he probably did get a bandwagon, a huge bandwagon following for the Patriots. And and every single NFL fan at one point in time was rooting for them to lose. Okay, I know. Right. For me, I was rooting for the Giants teams, the two Super Bowls they played. I rooted for Peyton Manning to get over that hump. But when it's all said and done, what he did for NFL, what he did for sports. Remember, he came also at a time when we're talking GOATs, we kind of, Jordan was gone. Michael Jordan was retired at the start of Brady's career. And we didn't have, obviously what Kobe and Shaq did with the Lakers, but we didn't have that proven, consistent winner. And that was Tom Brady after Michael Jordan. And so what we witnessed, he does belong on the Mount Rushmore of sports. I'm not saying just football, of sports. I really do believe that. I'm not saying he transcended the way the quarterback position played. He was the best quarterback to ever do it, but I'm not saying there was anything revolutionary. But his winning ways is what transcended everything. And so that's why he belongs on the Mount Rushmore.
What about you, D?
He did it better than anybody else, is what it was.
Yeah.
Like, he 10x'd it, right? He's that typical, 6'5", tall, pocket quarterback, right? And that everybody always talks about. And he wasn't athletic at all. He wasn't somebody that was going to outrun you or anything like that. But yeah, he did it just way better than anybody's ever done it in history. And I don't think there's ever going to be another person like him because of the way football's moving, right? You got the mobile quarterbacks these days, right? That's just what's happening. Even Joe Burrow, I mean, he's a mobile quarterback.
I almost feel like, you know how the NBA has the emblem and it's Jerry West? If the NFL had an emblem, a profile of a player, it would be Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
He would be their
best
representation of the game. And also,
this may be upsetting the purists. I think they should I think maybe the NFL MVP award for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, he owns more Lombardi trophies than Vince Lombardi does. So I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to renaming a Tom Brady award, something like that. Now, another thing to keep in mind is this: Michael Jordan was drafted third in the '84 NBA draft, right? So people did recognize the greatness. The people that were in front of him, Hakeem, which everybody says if you watch old documentaries and read up on it, Hakeem was the number one choice on everyone's list that year. Yep. There was nobody else. I mean, even everyone understands why they took Elijah Wan over everyone else.
Yeah.
Bowie was picked because they had Drexler, and so they weren't going to get another two guard. And then Michael Jordan was picked. Keep this in mind. The NFL had 198 chances to pick Tom Brady.
Right.
Okay? 198 chances. And every team was just missing and missing and missing and
the Patriots waited 5 rounds. They missed.
Yeah.
Druckenmiller, or was it
Druckenmiller?
Druckenmiller. These guys were drafted ahead of Tom Brady.
It is so funny.
That's a story for guys that are just making it, just say, that are struggling to get their name out of the combine and just say, hey, if you have a choice, you either give up or try to become the greatest. Yeah. And Tom Brady dared to become the greatest.
Yeah. But think about how long he did it and that longevity, what he had to do throughout his career to make sure that he can continue to go forward, right? Because he could still be playing another 2-3 years. Don't get that twisted. He's retiring because he sees family growing up in front of his eyes and he's not there, right? And he's still at the top of the game. He led the NFL in yards. I think touchdowns again this year, right?
Touchdown.
I mean, he has another 2-3 years. He could still be there. And don't get it twisted. He might pull a Michael Jordan and say, hey, you know what? I retired. I retired right after that was emotions.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you were to give me odds on Brady coming back, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. Michael Jordan came back. It's so funny. I've been watching the Montana documentary, and it seems like every great athlete at some point needs to feel unwanted. Yeah, Brady and Montana were unwanted at the beginning, and they were like, I'll show you. Jordan and Kobe had to manufacture feeling unwanted because they were wanted, and they were angry at some point.
They were on their way out, though. All these greats, right, were on their way out. Like Brady's not on his way out. It's weird,
right?
Like Kobe, he was done. He was washed up 3 years before, right? Jordan, I mean, he came back, but obviously he retired after that.
Oh, Jordan with the Wizards was not.
Yeah, he wasn't the same. Right?
He was a shell of himself. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can totally see him saying, "Hey," and then not only that. He didn't give us that fucking, excuse my language, he didn't give us that season of a goodbye type of season, right? He didn't give us that chance to oh, this is Brady's.
I appreciated that.
Right. We're so used to the aging quarterback going out in a bad way. Aikman, Elway, Manning
I thought about that, and that was also the Tim Duncan way out. Tim Duncan didn't do a goodbye tour. And it was just kind of all right, well, I'm done now. And so I think there's something about that kind of workmanship that, I'm just going in there to do my job, to put my team in the best possible, position to win. And Tom Brady did that. Yeah. Also, so now this is the portion of the show where Patrick talks about the tuck rule and what that means to him.
I have that coming up later. Don't worry. We're gonna tackle it. The thing about Brady, and you have to put the Patriots in there as well, they were the headline every Monday morning. Did they win? Did they lose? Oh, did you see that 4th down play? Oh, Belichick doesn't believe in the defense. Oh, Brady this. Brady's the greatest teammate. They were our lead story every week, no matter what. So he was our guy. He was our leader, whether you liked him or not. Are you Are you gonna miss him, Diamante? Are you gonna miss Tom Brady following him Sunday mornings and afternoons and evenings, or seeing how he's doing?
Yeah, that's one less great quarterback that we get a chance to watch in the league. And we're all football enthusiasts, and we all went through those phases with Tom Brady. We hated him, and then we slowly went to we're rooting for him to win.
Right. You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
And you bring up a good point.
I was like this. I rooted for him in the early years, and then it got like when he was running the table with that undefeated team, I hated him. And then slowly and then I find myself rooting for him when he's down 28-3 against Atlanta. I'm like, man, I hope Brady pulls this off.
Or against the Seahawks, where the Seahawks were trying to make their move into as the best, right?
And he ended them.
Yep.
He ended them.
Yep.
Well, no more Tom Brady. It's going to be a different looking league next year. But this whole show,
there's only one non-49er that I just love watching every Sunday, and it's Jerry Jones. So I put Brady up there. Like if Jerry Jones were to stop owning the team, I think I'd be disappointed too.
Let's go to the categories, because this week we're devoting our show to the Tom Brady Awards. They're called the Bradys. I have a bunch of categories I want to ask you about. First category of Tom Brady retiring. Tom Brady's career, most memorable moment. The nominees are the final drive to win the first Super Bowl, the 28-3 comeback, or the undefeated regular season, or add your own. What do you think Tom Brady's most memorable moment is? Start with you, Omar.
I'm going to go with, I just mentioned the game, the 28-3, the image of Tom Brady with his head down, and it wasn't a head down of poor me, I lost. It was an image of a guy with his head down calculating how the hell he was going to get back into this game. And to me, that'll be the most, and he was sitting by himself. He wasn't yelling at anybody. He wasn't going over these, the Microsoft Surface and looking at, he was just figuring out, I gotta do something. And me, I'll carry that with me when I think of Tom Brady.
Every great athlete needs that mega comeback somewhere in their resume. It's like, we came back, the odds were crazy. And also, like, remember, he throws a pick six, like in the early portion of the third quarter, and you're like, oh, we thought there's no way. And he
that's game.
Still pulls it off. What about you, D? Most memorable moment?
I would have to say it's not on that list, but one of my most memorable moments is I was actually at the Super Bowl, the Seattle Seahawks Patriots game. I was sitting in that end zone where, it wasn't him that made the interception, but there was another incredible catch in that game, right? It was what's his name from the Seahawks,
Malcolm Butler.
Who made that incredible.
No, it was Richardson.
Yeah, was it Richardson? But like he kicked the ball up in the air and still caught it. Like
he kicked the ball, Richardson.
Yeah, I'm just thinking this game's over, right? And so was Tom Brady sitting on that sideline, and they instead of running the ball, they throw an interception in the goal line, on the goal line, and Tom Brady's just rooting, just like couldn't believe it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably one of my most memorable moments. I was actually at the game, so it wasn't per se him doing anything, but at that game, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, good write-in moment. Yeah. I'm going to go, I had a hard time with it. That final drive to win the first Super Bowl is great, but I might go the undefeated season. Yeah, I know they lost the Super Bowl, that undefeated regular season. Remember from like week 10, you had to watch their game.
Yeah.
You had to see if they were going to win again. You had to keep watching it. So tough one between those. I don't even know if I can pick one.
That was crazy though. That last game they played the Giants.
Right.
The very last game of the season.
And the Giants. Yeah. The Giants put something in them that they were scared. Yes. They were scared. Right. The Giants. That was the first time the Patriots got hit in the mouth that season.
Yep.
Because I want to say they dominated Peyton Manning in their big showdown that season. Another big showdown that year was the Cowboy game. I think both teams came into that. Either the Cowboys were 5-1, the Patriots 6-0, something like that. And the Patriots won that handily, And so they answered the bell every game until week 17, and the Giants had them running.
Yes,
they did.
It was almost out of like a movie. when like the little plucky team doesn't win, but they get close, and then they get to face them again. It's perfect.
It's Rocky. It's Rocky beating Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed was the superior fighter, and Rocky came so close. And Creed says, "I want you again." And they got the Giants again, and the Giants took care of it.
Yep. Yeah. Also, Apollo Creed says at the end of the first Rocky, there ain't going to be no rematch. He was wrong. He was lying. There will be a rematch. Next category, least memorable moment. The nominees are the helmet catch to lose the undefeated season, Deflategate, losing the Philadelphia Super Bowl, or the Antonio Brown exit. Or include your own. What do you think his least memorable moment is, Omar?
I want to say that for him, it's going to be the Philadelphia Super Bowl. I think that one is just going to be I think when he looks back on it, I think there was a mutual respect that Brady had for Eli Manning and Mike Strahan and all those great Giants defenders. I think that even to this day, there is zero respect from Tom Brady to Nick Foles. I don't want to speak for him, but I just don't. And I think, 99 out of 100 times that Patriots team beats that Eagles team. It's just, they just caught them on the wrong day.
It was so un-Patriots-like of a loss. Number one, we all remember the Nick Foles Philly special. Remember Tom Brady drops a halfback pass.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, let's two teams run the same play. Let's see who does it better. Brady drops it. And then the 8-minute drive at the end of that game for Philly to go down the field and score. It's so un-Patriots-like. So it's very forgettable for that team.
Tom put up 505 yards that game.
Yeah. He
505 yards
lights out.
Passing.
He did everything he could. I just think it was so it sticks out because he did everything he could do, and his team they didn't find a way to win.
Or is that just an un-Belichick type of defense? Because usually Belichick
that was
has
a problem too.
Yeah, maybe because usually Belichick has a stout defense every year.
Wasn't that the Super Bowl that he benched Malcolm Butler? I think he benched Malcolm Butler for some reason.
See, we can't have a single Super Bowl without some Belichick drama. We have to have some drama no matter what. Oh. He's like, you're going to have to do it. What about you, D? Least memorable moment?
I think his least memorable moment is when he blew his knee out against the Chiefs in week 2.
It's true.
Yeah, I think
it was week 1. I think it was like 8 minutes into week 1.
It was like week 1, week 2.
Right? It was week 1 of the season after the undefeated run.
Yep. Just blew his knee out.
That's good.
And get this, they went 11-5 and still missed the playoffs that year.
That's true. That was the Matt Castle era.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matt Castle. And then Matt Castle got like where did he go after that?
Hey, so that's when all the
Vikings.
That's when all the is it Brady or is it Belichick? That's when all that started because Belichick still took them to 11-5 at that year.
Yeah, that's true. That was the start. Is it Brady? Is it Belichick? That we would argue about for the next 10 years.
There's no way. There was no other team in history of the NFL that went 11-5 and still missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
What a stacked field. That is good. Blowing out the knee first week of the season.
It wasn't a stacked field because those years Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Tennessee were just. I mean, they had some great teams. They had great teams, and I think who won the East that year? Was it the Jets, or was it maybe the Dolphins?
It was the Jets that year.
It was the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Oh, are we talking Mark Sanchez era Jets?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Colts were still the Colts were still on top of their game. Yeah. So
Ravens.
The Texans weren't that bad. So yeah, there were some great teams out there. Broncos had some decent teams. So that was definitely, you're right. 11-5. Ugh, that to not make the playoffs. That's brutal.
No Brady, no playoffs. That's pretty tough. For me, it's Deflategate though. Oh, go ahead.
And then that year, it's like the NFC West was so bad. I think a 7-9 team got in.
Yeah, that was the Seattle Seahawks. That was the Seahawks that year.
It was the Seahawks and the Rams. They were fighting for the playoff spot.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's so crazy. Like we it seems like the Bengals right now are on the tip of everybody's tongue as like the greatest story this year. They went 10-7. They went 10-7 this year, and they just are on such fire in the playoffs. So the records are so telling, and yet sometimes they're not telling. Thank God for the eye test. So for me, though, it's Deflategate because Tom Brady's character is now called into question. And we have to rethink.
Yeah.
Oh, is he, number one, is he involved? Is he not involved? To what degree is he involved? The broken cell phone, we gotta take apart that. And then we have to start thinking, well, does this really matter? And then you think like, okay, well, this matters because this is our team. This is our guy. Yeah. And now we're calling into question their practices. And there was the Spygate and stuff before, but it seemed like not only maybe this wasn't a big story, but everybody wanted to find the chink in that armor. And I think Tom Brady took a little hit for that and had to work his way back in the public eye, whether you ever agreed with it or not.
Do you see what happens when you're at the top of your game and you're year after year after year?
Perfect example of it. Yeah.
Yeah. People are just looking for anything to bring you guys down. How many games did he serve as a suspension because of that? 4?
4. I think he missed the first 4. And then he got to win the Super Bowl, and Goodell had to give him this trophy.
that's when Garoppolo won those games, right?
That might have was that the Garoppolo 4?
Yep. Yeah, Garoppolo was playing those games.
Oh, well, give some credit to Jacoby Brissett. He also won his start too.
Look at Omar. You never want to give Garoppolo any love. Maybe this is Garoppolo's most memorable. Is it me or is it human nature? We want to root for you on the way up, but when you get there, now we want to tear you down. Yeah, what's with us as fans? Do we just hate winners?
We are a society of haters, flat out.
I agree.
We do. Because go ahead. Okay.
No, we just don't understand what it takes, to beat Tom Brady. Yeah. So it's better to trash him.
Yeah, I found myself being the same way with the Warriors, and now I'm like a Warriors fan because they had all the injuries. Klay Thompson, every time I put my thumb up, but like I'm rooting for them now. I'm rooting for Steph Curry to like kick some butt out there.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a great analogy. Yeah. I'm rooting for them too.
We do it with entertainers too. Like when an actor gets a few small roles and then we like them and then they get a big lead role and we're like, they sold out.
He's not that good.
Right. What's wrong with us? Why do we always do that? It's so funny. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady. Let's track it in 3 or 4 years with Mahomes or whatever. Like, let's say like, he got too big. He's got too many distractions. Yeah. I don't know, as our collective psyche as fans is very odd. Next category, best teammate. The nominees, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Gronk, Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, Alex Guerrero. Who do you think Tom Brady's best teammate is? We'll start with you, D.
I think his best teammate, it's got to be Gronk. I mean, Gronk
followed him to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, followed him to Tampa. He retired and it came out of retirement for Tom Brady, right? I think he has a soft spot in his heart for Tom Brady. I think that's what it is.
It's almost like Gronk is the path that he wanted Antonio Brown to go down. Like, let me take you under my wing. Let's go to Tampa Bay. Let's get into this. And it worked for Gronk, but not Tampa Bay. I'm having a hard time disagreeing with Gronk as the best teammate. They seem like they would be bros in an unusual way. They're different people, but somehow they are good friends still. What about you, Omar? Best teammate?
On the field, I'm also going to say Gronk. On the field, off the field, Giselle. I mean, she's wearing Victoria's Secret to bed, and I mean that's got to keep you hungry and focused.
You're right. I should have included Giselle. You're right. She's best teammate.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
You meant thirsty.
I should have included. That's a good teammate. You're right.
Frozen up on us, Omar.
No Bill Belichick, best teammate. No thought of Bill Belichick being the best.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got to be.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, I think Brady is the man who he is because of Belichick. Obviously, the mentality was built from Bill Belichick, right? Obviously, greatness. I'm not sure if you're just born great or if it's something that you do every day that makes you great. And so I think his repetition, the way he thought, the way he came to work every day was instilled from Bill Belichick, which, if you think about it, is the Bill Parcells type of way of life, right? Way of thinking. So I think he's lucky that he spent that many years. It's like it was his baby. Like, he was raised by Bill Belichick. So I mean, that's not a bad answer either.
Maybe the category should be best associate, and it would be Bill Belichick would be the better term.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's in the conversation, but I'm with you. I wouldn't say he's the best teammate because I don't think they are particularly good with each other on a daily basis. Yeah. Next category, best rival. Nominees are Peyton Manning, Eli Manning and the 2 Super Bowl winning Giants teams, the NFL and Roger Goodell, Bill Belichick, or just Father Time is his best rival. What do you think, Omar? Best rival to Tom Brady?
I think it's as much as we love watching the Peyton Manning Brady showdowns. Brady won that that head to head easily. Manning, but they only played once every 4 years, and then the 2 Super Bowls. So they didn't play. They hardly played against each other. So I'm gonna say I like you adding Goodell. I mean, this was definitely there's no love and hate. It seems like there was hate and hate, and I think that he still succeeded even though the NFL was on his rear end. So I'm gonna say it was the Goodell rivalry.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to argue with that. Goodell, it looks like he just had it in for him. We had lawyers, we had scientists, we had courts, judges throwing the case out of court, and then he suspends them for 4 games. That is hate, like you said. That's pure hate on hate.
Yeah.
What about you, D? Best rival.
I mean, I agree. It's definitely not Father Time because, like we said earlier, he's still balling.
Right.
If I want to lump them together, I could even make the argument for both Mannings, right? You got the Manning during the regular season because it seemed like every year he was playing Peyton, and of course we all look forward to those games. I think there was maybe like a 2-year stretch where it was Peyton Manning getting him right.
Yeah,
and because that's when he won his Super Bowl with Indy and then with Denver.
Right, that's true. Yeah, he beat him in Denver. That's true.
Yeah, and then you just always felt like whenever the Patriots played the Giants, it felt like almost as if New York was the big brother to New England, right? Whether it's the regular season or in the Super Bowl. So I would put them together. I'd lump them together. I would just say the Mannings are his biggest rival.
That's pretty good. Put the both. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Eli Manning and the Giants. They had their number twice in the Super Bowl. I remember I asked you this like a couple months ago, Omar. Do you think the Giants made a deal with the devil to beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl, but then they're going to suck for 20 years? If you were to say who's going to take down Tom Brady and the Patriots twice, if I said Eli Manning, you would throw me out of the car. And yet they beat him twice. So I think his biggest rival was those Eli teams.
It's not a bad because, when you think about it, even before Brady, the connections that you have between the Jets, Giants, and Patriots, that triangle up there in the Northeast, it's pretty fascinating. Parcells coached all 3. There's always been dirty pool played between all 3 when it comes to one-upping the other. And it just seems like it's only fitting that the 2 miraculous Brady losses were at the hands of Eli Manning.
Eli Manning that pulled out the greatest game that we never thought he was capable of.
Gosh.
Well, and the crazy thing about that is like we're still talking like, does Eli get into the Hall of Fame? Like, is that
right?
That's a real debate. That's going to be a real debate. So who knows?
Yeah, that is going to be the Eli conversation. Is something like we're going to have to talk about every year.
And it's just because he beat Brady in the 2 Super Bowls. It's not because he had a miraculous record-breaking career at all. Like at all.
No.
So
Eli Manning's regular seasons were always like, is this the guy? How much longer is this? Eli Manning is like George W. Bush. When he was in office, everybody hated him. And then he got out of office, and then we look at him pretty good. We're like, you know what? He was good. He was good. He did a good job. Yeah. But during the regular season, we crucified Eli Manning. And yet, biggest stage, he took down Tom Brady the NFL season with great play. It wasn't like his defense bailed him out, but I'm going to go Eli, but it's hard to argue against Goodell. Might have been his biggest rivalry that second half of his career.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Good call on that one. Next category, best hair. And this one comes along with some images.
He looks older there than he does now.
He does. He does. He looks like he's 41 years old in this picture. Look at him, like his eyes are bright. He's full of life.
That's when Giselle was big in his life.
This might have been the start of the Giselle era.
She was like, you need to grow your hair long, Tom.
He's putting product in his hair.
You know, that's a great Brazilian accent.
I was gonna say, when did I take Giselle out of the waiting room and put her in our Sunday Night Talk?
Since when is Giselle riding the short bus?
Look at that. You're going to drive Omar back to drinking. Next nominee, Tom Brady, black hair. Somehow his hair got black at the end of his career.
Yeah.
And lastly, Tom Brady, gray temples.
Ugh, that's hard to see.
Is it? Is it hard to see? I think this is his most natural look. He's got the gray temples. So you got young Tom Brady.
I like the black hair Tom Brady. That's when he looked like he was a killer. He looked like he was just a straight killer. Like, I'm trying to dominate the league every year.
He's definitely got that killer look.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll go. I want to go with that look as well. I think that's the right Tom Brady.
This might be prime Brady also. Still like coming off that 28-3 comeback. I'm the man. I'm surprised that I'm even being talked into black hair Tom Brady.
My least favorite though was when he was drawing comparisons with Bieber. Remember when he was trying to put his hair to the front? And
that was long hair Brady.
Didn't he go through a phase where he had a full beard, like a super long beard?
I don't remember that. Did he?
I think he was straight. He was bushy. It wasn't a long beard, but he was definitely full bearded.
That's true. We never had Brady bearded years. I feel like we should have had that.
Well,
he did have a beard. He did have a beard.
Oh, did he?
Say he like cut it off like right before the Super Bowl or something.
That would have been good. I'm with you. I'm gonna go black hair. Brady was best hair. Next category. When did Tom Brady become the GOAT? Nominees are third Super Bowl win, 28-3 comeback, hosting SNL, or marrying Giselle. When did he officially become the GOAT? What do you think, Omar? Start us off.
I'm going to go back to, I was convinced he was the GOAT, in my opinion, the 28-3. I really was. But arguments can be made that he had earned it even before then.
Yeah.
But I think 28-3 definitely not only did his place in football, but in all of sports. And then to just put the icing on the cake to go into Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl in 1 year.
Yeah. I think we already knew he was a GOAT before that, but that just solidified it. That was just like, all right, yeah, we knew it. Okay, we were right about what we knew. It has to be when they went undefeated that year. Even though they lost the Super Bowl, even though they lost the Super Bowl, like you don't go 16-0 and not be called one of the best. You know what I mean? Or the greatest.
Right.
And not only that, he had been already hitting Super Bowls. What was that? Maybe that was close to his like 5th Super Bowl already.
Right.
If I'm not
Well, see,
mistaken.
that would have been his 4th.
His 4th win, but he had was his first loss?
That was his first loss in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that type of dominance, good gosh.
I think you're right. I think the answer is a 28-3. It's just like there's no one better.
Huge.
There's no one better than this. We're not going to see any other barometer for testing. I'm with you.
That was big.
I go 28-3. We're like, this is the greatest. This is our guy. Next category. When did we officially know Tom Brady was a thing? This category is a little more open to interpretation. I'm thinking of it in the sense of like, when did Tom Brady cross over into non-football fans' vernacular? When did non-football fans know Tom Brady? And I guess I would go when he married Gisele Bündchen, and you can even go a little previous to that when he was married and knocked up that actress and had a kid with her. That he was starting to get in more conversations.
With who?
I want to say
Bridget Moynahan.
Moynahan, yeah. I'm going to say that
He's frozen.
because like it was the 9/11 Super Bowl. And
Wait,
I think
say that again, Omar, because you froze up. Say it again.
Oh, I think it's the 9/11 Super Bowl. The one where the first one. I think there was just so much focus on 9/11, and then the one against the Rams, the greatest show on turf. I think that Super Bowl was enough just to put them in everyone's living room.
You should have asked your mom this question, Pat.
Yeah, I wonder what she would have said, because, well, the reason I think of questions like this, I remember when I was a kid, and it was in the 80s, and I remember my aunts would ask about, is Mike Ditka the guy who had the heart attack? And then that's when I would say, like, oh, people who aren't into sports know about little details of sports, but they don't know the sports part of it, but they know some details about it. So it's weird. Sports will cross over into pop culture, but the athlete needs to do something, that will cross them over. And sometimes it's a marriage or a scandal or something to it. So like Tom Brady, who's not a very outward athlete, like you don't see him doing pop culture stuff, but he hosted SNL. He married a supermodel. He's in these circles a little bit. So when did he become a thing? And I think it was marrying a supermodel. I don't know how I don't know how that doesn't get mentioned every other sentence when you say, hey, who's Tom Brady? Oh, he's married to a supermodel and he plays football.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Gisele crossed him over to that pop culture.
And not to mention the conversation at some point goes like, she made more money than he did last year. And you're like, holy shit, this is beyond the football.
It could be either that or whenever one of the gates, either Spygate or Deflategate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody heard that.
Yeah, that's true. The like deflated balls joke was, everybody made that joke. Mm-hmm. That was a crossover moment as well. But yeah, you win first Super Bowl. I like the first Super Bowl pick now, Omar.
Yeah, it could be.
Next category, what ifs? I got 4 of them, or write your own. Number 1, what if? What if Drew Bledsoe never gets injured? What do you think happens in that season? Does Tom Brady ever get in? Was he going to get pulled at some point? What do you think happens if Drew Bledsoe never gets injured?
My recollection was that Bledsoe was having a rough start to that season. So that I mean, does he get pulled at some point? Maybe, but who knows if they catch fire the way they did.
I don't think he gets pulled. He had just signed that record-breaking contract, like that season. So I don't think they pull him at all, even if he was struggling. I think that was. Again, maybe Tom, signed the deal with the devil, right? And
yeah.
He gets
hey, Mo Lewis, go wreck Drew Bledsoe's pancreas.
And then right? He busted a vessel in his chest, is what it was.
He almost died in the ambulance.
Yeah, they said he lost six liters of blood or something like that. It was crazy.
Tom Brady, secret hitman. Hey, Mo Lewis, you know what to do. You know what to do. Do you think the Patriots win the Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe that year? Just off the top of your head, do you think they win a Super Bowl?
Maybe not. I think a young Ben Roethlisberger. No, that wasn't that year. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong year. No, I honestly think that I think with that Super Bowl, and I got confused for a second there, but with that Super Bowl, the Rams really were the best team in the NFL that year.
Uh-huh.
They were over. I mean, they were great. That was a great offense, and it may be arguably the greatest offense we've ever seen. I just think that they caught the Patriots on the wrong day.
Yeah.
I also think that comparing Bledsoe and Brady, Bledsoe was kind of more of a gunslinger and would make mistakes. Brady, he had an arm, but he wasn't going to make the mistakes because it was almost as if Bill Belichick had him. He was his puppet, right? He was going to do what kind of Mac Jones-ish, right? Doesn't make too many mistakes. He's not going to throw that interception. So I don't think they win the Super Bowl with Bledsoe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
A great what if is, what if Bledsoe doesn't get injured and plays another year? Does Tom Brady at some point say like, hey, I want to trade. I want to be a starter somewhere or something. And do we get a Brady on another team if Bledsoe is the man all those years?
I don't think it's Brady at that point because I'm telling you, it's Belichick who developed him.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And then what kind of Brady do we get? No Belichick over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized there's no answer to any of these questions.
For sure.
Which leads me to number 2 question. What if the tuck is ruled a fumble? The Raiders move on. We would have played Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship. It's very winnable of a game for the Raiders, even though it would have been on the road, and thus the Raiders would have went up against the greatest show on turf. Who knows what would happen there? What if the tuck rule was a fumble, Omar?
Today. Did you see the
Pat, you need to get over this.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
You got to get over it.
No, I'm over it. Well, okay. Well, where do you stand on it? Was it a fumble or was it a tuck rule? Because I have come to terms that it was called correctly by the letter of the law. He was tucking it. However, he was. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Beyond that, I have no thoughts.
It was bang. They shouldn't have overturned it. I think it was more of a bang play because he was at the point where he was even almost touching the ball himself because where he had brought it down. So I think they should have just left it where it was at, call on the field, because that's usually what you're supposed to do when things are bang plays. Well,
I don't disagrey with that. Right. They should have called it a fumble. What about you, Omar? What if the tuck rule is ruled a fumble? What happens?
I think you'd be in a lot better place mentally over the years. So
I don't argue with that at all. Well, okay, let's take it the other direction. Okay, what if the Patriots lose? What's the Patriots' next season like?
Yeah, that's the greater question. What would have happened, if the Raiders go on to win and is there even a quarterback controversy because Brady did win games?
I don't think so. Because Brady got hurt early in the AFC Championship.
Bledsoe finished that game. Yeah.
And Bledsoe wins it, and then he doesn't even start in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, there was like a little quarterback controversy talk at the end of that game, but it didn't go anywhere.
So I don't think anything happens. I think the bigger question is does John Gruden leave the Raiders if they win that game? I think that's the bigger question.
That's a good question too.
Because he went to Tampa right after that, right?
Yeah, they traded him to Tampa for God knows what. Next, what if? What if Tom Brady never marries Giselle?
It would have been some other supermodel.
Oh,
he
really?
He was going to walk away with a supermodel. Oh, yeah.
Regardless.
Brady has a type. It's supermodels.
Yeah.
Do you guys see the difference between a classy Giselle wife and a Patrick Mahomes, whatever her name is, Brittany Matthews wife?
That's true.
Good.
I think that's a story for another show because I would like to get into that at some point.
Me too.
Okay, here's my quick assessment of it. We're looking at a difference between old money and young money. Brady and Giselle seem like we know how this game is played, whereas the Mahomes couple is like, all right, we're young, we're rich, we got phones, and we're taking pictures of everything.
Like frat. They're still like frat people.
Yeah, like they're newlyweds. And Tom Brady already had a kid. Giselle already went out with Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff. And they knew how to conduct themselves publicly. Is my thought.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's true. Last what if. What if the Patriots do go undefeated in that 2007 season? Are we looking at them any differently? I think I think we're not. I think we already recognize them as awesome, as Brady the best ever, and they lost the undefeated season.
Yeah, if there's a slight, I think we still give them that dynasty GOAT status, but yeah, I mean, you still would look at, 18-0, 19-0, that would be like all time, better than Jordan's 72-10.
Right.
That it's up there. Yeah.
It would probably be the headline of Tom Brady's career, right? It would be like, and he went undefeated, and then this. Yeah. So
yeah,
I wonder.
Miami Dolphins wouldn't be excited about it, right?
That's right. Mercury Morris wouldn't be on every show on Sunday morning. We did it in a harder era.
They only played 14 games too, so
right. Played 14 games, and they were like 35 minutes long. That does it for the Bradys. Now we can get to the actual game. Okay, before we go to the props, I brought up some Super Bowls through the history. All right, do you know the top 5 Super Bowls by viewers over the last few years? The number 1 Super Bowl by viewers was 2015 New England, Seattle, 114.4 million viewers.
I knew this. You know why?
Wow.
I told you I was at that Super Bowl. I got offered 11. I had nosebleed seats, by the way, and I got offered $11,000 for my ticket.
What?
I'm not even kidding. And
you weren't tempted?
I've never been to a Super Bowl before. If I had been to a Super Bowl before, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll go watch this at the bar. Easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Who offered you $11,000?
There's people in the parking lots when we were tailgating and everything. People were just asking for tickets.
Did you see the cash?
Wow.
Did you see the 11,000, or was it just?
We immediately said nah.
Really?
Get out of here. Yeah, we weren't going to give them. I got free tickets to the Super Bowl. Who gets that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Second highest Super Bowl by viewers, 2014 Seattle, Denver, 112.1. Third, 2016 Denver, Carolina. Fourth, 2012 New York Giants, New England. And fifth, 2017 New England, Atlanta. Here's an interesting one. The top 5 Super Bowls by television ratings. Number 1, 1982, San Francisco, Cincinnati, 49.1 share. Number 2, 1983, Washington, Miami. Number 3, 1986, Chicago, New England. Number 4, 1978, Dallas, Denver. And number 5, 1979, Pittsburgh, Dallas. Do you know what last year's Super Bowl ratings were?
No, I wouldn't know.
What are they?
38.2. Doesn't even make the list anywhere near the top 5 by ratings.
And everybody was at home too. That's crazy.
Well, I would also say back in those days, people only had like one of 5 stations to look at.
Definitely.
That's true.
The highest rated Super Bowl in the last 10 years was 2015 New England, Seattle with a 47.5 share. So that would have been the 5th spot of it. So on to the props. I found some prop bets online, but I also made up my own. Number 1 prop bet online, the coin toss.
Are you marking our answers down? Are you marking our answers
down?
Yeah,
I'm going to mark them down. So let's go right now. The coin toss. What do you think? Heads or tails? Heads is minus $103. Tails minus $103. What do you think?
They don't have heads or tails. They have the name of the
That's true.
It's
they have the Super Bowl trophy, but they call it heads or tails, which is very confusing.
Teams. They have. It's going to be either. What's it called? It's going to be either Cincinnati or it's going to be Rams. I think that's the coin.
But don't they always still say this is heads, or maybe they changed that? They say call your team.
I guess home is heads, right?
Yeah. I think they make them say heads or tails.
And Cincinnati is technically home, I think, for this game.
No, I think the better record is.
I think the better record is.
Rams.
I don't know. Oh no! You're right. It's not by record. I think they alternated AFC NFC. Because I did hear the Bengals chose to wear their home jerseys. They got to choose.
Yeah, the Bengals are the home team, and that comes with a few perks, like the first choice of jersey color, the home sideline, the first choice of media availability times during the week. Cincinnati has those.
Yeah, and I don't think they call. So I guess it is heads or tails for that, but they don't call. They don't have to call because it's just the team names on both sides of the coin.
Oh, this is a bet I found online. This is really going to mess up the prop.
No, but it is going to be considered heads and tails because we do know who's home team and who's not. So
gotcha.
The home team is probably the heads.
Okay, so let's say home team is heads, away team is tails. What do you think? How's the coin going to land, D?
It's going to go Cincinnati's favor.
Which would be?
Heads.
Heads. Okay, you're going heads. Omar, heads or tails?
He's got some magic. He's got some type of magic.
I'm saying the Rams make the wrong call, so Cincinnati wins it.
But how's the coin gonna land? You got to choose heads or tails.
They're gonna choose tail. Rams are gonna choose tails and lose.
So you're saying heads?
Yes.
I'm gonna go tails. Tails never fails. I don't know if you remember this, Omar. Maybe we were on a sports team together where like the referee says like, all right, let's flip a coin. And then the captain says, oh, I'm going to pick heads. And the referee flips it, catches it and goes, oh, it's tails. And then the player goes, oh no, he catches it. He goes, it's tails. And the player goes, I thought you were going to do this. Trying to get it to fall his way. So somehow he planned to like, hey, you're supposed to flip it over now that I know what it is. Next prop. Gatorade color. The number one pick is orange plus 200. What do you think? What's going to be the Gatorade color? Start with you, Omar.
Oh, I like that bet. I'm gonna be lame and go with the favorite. Oh, it's gonna be Cincinnati orange.
I was gonna say Rams blue.
You're going blue.
Rams blue.
I'm gonna be different. I'll go clear.
It's water.
It's water. Next prop. Will there be a safety scored? Yes, plus 900. No, minus 1500. This is an easy one. I'll go no on it. Just say safety's a tough one. At plus 900 though, any temptation to take a safety?
It's not bad.
They got the Rams have a very, very good the Rams punter is very good. And I could just see him pinning them back and Aaron Donald just busting through that line and stuffing Joe Mixon on the wrong side. I'm going to say yes.
Ooh,
I'll take
you like the bet.
I like that.
I might change my answer. I like that answer too. Super Bowls are weird games. You know, safeties are not too crazy. Super Bowls have weird scoring games.
All the games this year have been pretty crazy.
Yep. You're talking me into this bet now. Damn. What do you think? You're going to go yes safety or no, D?
I'll go no safety.
Let's go no.
Continue this. I'll catch up. I got to check the car real quick. I'm getting an alert from the door, and God knows what drunk is in my car from the Cincinnati neighborhood.
All right. Omar is going to go. Omar has left the man cave. What about this prop? plus 900. Omar is sneaking a drink out in his driveway. We had too much alcohol talk. He's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Will there be overtime? Yes is plus 950. No is minus 2,000. We've seen a lot of overtime in these playoffs. Could you be talked into an overtime? Yes.
How
Plus
many
950?
Super Bowl games have been in overtime?
I think just the one, right?
Which one was that one?
Shoot, now I can't remember.
That was.
Oh, that was
New England
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta.
That was the only overtime game, right? I think so.
That was.
Okay. So you're saying we're due overtime?
I think we're doing overtime because there were so many overtime games this year. You even called an overtime game this playoffs.
Right. That's true. We had a lot of overtime. Let's not forget Vegas Chargers overtime to get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
The Sunday night of my mental breakdown. You're going yes. Overtime plus 950. Yeah, at 950.
That's a lot of money.
At 950, I'm going for it.
Give me 100 on that.
Give me. Yeah, let's live a little.
Give me 100 to win almost 1,000. Oh no, how much is that? 950 plus 950. How much is that?
That means doesn't that mean if you lay down $100 and it goes into overtime, you win 950?
You get 950. Yeah, so give me that 1,000.
Yes, $100. That makes sense. All right, here's the props I made up. Kickoff. Opening kickoff. Touchback, or does it get returned?
It's a touchback.
Going touchback?
Yes. That's a good question.
I agree. They're always touchbacks. It's easy to do a touchback, but every once in a while, a returner wants to catch it at 4 yards deep and make a run.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go obvious. Answer is touchback.
What do we got?
Will there be overtime? Yes
No.
is plus 950. No is minus 2,000. Me and Diamante talked ourselves both into placing a bet at yes.
Okay. I'm a no.
Let's go a no. That was minus 2,000. Here's the props I made up. By the way, what's up with your car? What happened out there?
There were, I don't know what happened. I got a notice on my app, but there were 3 drunk girls outside, and they asked if they could park in the front. I said, I'm not going to call the cops. So I said, you can leave it there, and if you come back and it's gone, I just don't want a big show outside because you're upset that you don't have a car. They're moving it right now.
Well, you're going to have to re-listen to the show and hear what me and Dino just bet while you were gone. All right, Omar, props I made up. Will the opening kickoff, will it be a touchback or will it be returned?
I'm just not a fan of I get the player safety. I really do. I'm just getting so sick of the returner just standing at the goal line and, then they
just let it go over their head. I'm with you. I don't like it. Got to catch it.
You got to do something. I mean, there was that Super Bowl with the Niners and Bengals that the Bengals got back into the game with Sanford Jennings kickoff return. Devin Hester taking the opening kickoff of a Super Bowl to the house.
That kick was short. That kick was
short.
To the 10-yard line.
Yes,
but at least there was a chance. Now it's just so easy for these kickers, just put leg into it,
Yeah.
So you're going touchback.
And that's because they're pushing that ball forward to like the 35. That's where they're kicking off these days. That's why.
Right.
Touchback. Prop number 2.
I agree with you. I don't like that rule. I think there needs to be kickoffs.
Just catch it.
There needs to be,
or catch it.
Just don't even have a kickoff if that's going to be the case.
Yeah. We gotta have a kickoff though. Like that's the way you start a game. Like line the players up like a line of scrimmage, like where they're right up against each other, helmet to helmet. Right. That would prevent some running into each other. But the kickoff has become very neutered over the years.
Did you see that? The one thing in the Pro Bowl today that I did like is they were testing the after a kickoff, after a score, you got the ball 4th and 15. And
were they? I missed that.
Yeah, and if you got the first down for the 15, you kept the ball.
It's cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. And
I like that.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think I saw one conversion. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like the fact that you were watching the Pro Bowl.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep and I got a good nap.
One year, we should just have a year of football where every crazy rule is implemented. The 4th and 15, my idea for the replay hostage, no touchbacks. One year, we should just implement all the rules and just see what sticks and then see if we want to keep it or not.
All right.
What about this prop? Will there be a taunting call? What do you think, D? If we're going to have a taunting call in the Super Bowl, I pray not.
I don't think so. Not in the Super Bowl.
Not in the Super Bowl?
They're not going to have one of those weak-ass calls like dictate a game.
Right. Yeah, I think the refs are going to be a secret Goodell email is going to be sent.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a game, a taunting call. I'm going to say yes. This taunt will not change the game. It is going to be Jamar Chase burning Jalen Ramsey, and Jamar Chase is going to do something about it.
Wow.
He's going to do the gritty. He's going to do the gritty in his face.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Adam.
he's going to. Or yeah, it's going to be in that matchup somewhere. Or it's going to be Jalen Ramsey maybe intercepting a ball and going to go right up to Jamar Chase, and he's just going to do it right in front of him, and there's going to be a flag.
Yeah. Or
I like Jalen Ramsey, man. He's a dog.
He's great.
Also, don't underestimate the chance of like kind of talking some trash to the sideline. Like if you make a play on their sideline, a little bit of finger pointing, that could be a taunting call too.
Yeah.
All right. What about this prop? Will a fan run out onto the field?
Yes.
Yes.
It's LA, and I give I'm no offense, I give LA no credit for how to behave in the Super Bowl, so I'm gonna say yes.
Well, I'll go no to be different, but the answer is there's so much upside to running on the field now. Because remember back in the day, you'd run on the field and the networks were smart and they just wouldn't show it. But now you can run on the field and you just tell your friend, record it with your phone. And then 1,000 other people will record you too, and it will live on in infamy forever. So you will have record of it. Did you see the KC one? Was it Buffalo?
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs put that guy in his ass.
And then he pops right back up. And he's back up and he's like dancing while he's that was awesome. I got to say, that was awesome. That was great.
I think his body was too cold. It was numb. He didn't feel it.
Right. He could have a huge bruise the next day because he took a good hit. Next prop.
They had a video before he did it too. Did you guys see that?
Yes, he was like, "I'm doing it." That was cool.
He was in the stand. He was like, "I'll bet you." I think they bet him what $100 or I think they gave him $1,000 or something like that to do it. He was like, "I'll do it," and then and then it cuts away and you see him just run on the field. I don't know if that was staged or what, but
right, true, awesome, man. Maybe you're talking me into it now. Next prop. Will there be a missed field goal?
Ooh.
Nah. Those are good field goal kickers. McPherson hasn't missed a field goal at all this playoffs.
Mm.
And you just jinxed McPherson.
Right. So I'm going yes. I'm absolutely saying yes.
Because of what Diamante Williams said, McPherson just missed the field goal.
It's going in my notes. Diamante jinxed the field goal. I wrote it right here. D jinxed McPherson.
Yes.
So I'm going yes. What are you going, Omar?
Yeah, the Diamante, the curse of Diamante.
I'll take a no. I'll take no.
Right. No for D. Next prop. How many times will Chris Collinsworth say wow? Over under 47.
I'm gonna say under just because that sounds like a huge number. So I'm gonna say under. I think that. How many times do you think he'll reference his previous Super Bowl experience?
Oh, that's a good one too. I should have included that one too.
I think he'll make at least 4 mentions, one a quarter.
You know, Al, when I was in the Super Bowl in 1982, we didn't have chin straps or coaches or even really cleats, Al. Always. And he was in that 1988 Super Bowl also, wasn't he?
Yeah, both.
Wow. Oh, shoot. I should have included this. He's going to mention this a lot. Let's make a note of that for the game. How many times he mentions he's in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
during the Super Bowl. I said, okay, over under 47. I'm just going to say it's a push. I say he mentions it 47 times. How about this? Will either squad choose to be introduced as a team? You know how I feel about teams being introduced as a team, right? Yeah. It's the ultimate FU to the other team, because the other team says, hey, you didn't tell us you were going to be introduced as a team. Now we look like dicks. You got to tell us if you're going to do that. And I think that's what the Patriots did that first Super Bowl too. Will either team choose to be introduced as a team?
I think Cincinnati will introduce themselves as a team.
Ooh, so you're going yes.
Because I think that the Rams are going to go offense, because they're going to let Matt Stafford have his introduction.
Yeah. I think
you're going yes,
many. I say no. There's too many little prima donnas, little youngsters that want
on both teams. Face. That's a good point too.
Yeah, they want their little Instagram, TikTok time, man.
I'm with you. I'm going to go no also. Last prop I made up. Will there be a turnover?
Yes.
Hell yeah, easy.
Yes.
I think I think there's a turnover on the first drive.
Oh,
I'll even get a little bit more specific.
Let me write that down. Turnover on first drive.
Too many jitters.
Okay, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go yes.
Yeah, Stafford. It being his first Super Bowl. Joe Burrow just being his second year in the league. He's somewhere he shouldn't even be. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm gonna go yes also.
Yeah.
All right. That was the props. Okay, before we go with the predictions, let me ask both of you a question that has bothered me for close to 20 years. Is it a shovel pass, a shuffle pass, or a shuttle pass? Do we know what the actual term is? I've heard every single version stated by announcers, coaches. What is it supposed to be called?
Shovel.
Shovel.
It should be a
shovel.
Make the case for a shovel pass. Why is it a shovel pass?
Go ahead, Omar.
I don't know. I always thought it was a shuffle.
You see, this is the debate. Nobody knows.
You do the icky shuffle before you shuffle the ball.
I guess it would make sense to shovel, because in a way, the way you
shovel it,
you're kind of
you're shoveling it at him.
Maybe I've just misunderstood it all this time. But it makes more sense to be. Thanks for bringing my whole existence has now been meaningless with the NFL.
Well, I don't think we have an answer. Like, we all think it's one thing, but who really knows? How can we settle this? I think shovel makes the most literal sense, because you're motioning in like a shovel. Shuffle kind of makes sense because it's not a pass, it's not a handoff. And then shuttle, right? The quarterback looks like he's doing a shuffle. And then there's shuttle.
Yeah.
But you say it's shovel. D says it's shovel.
Yeah.
Omar, you thought it was, what did you think it was?
I thought it was a shuffle.
I think I thought it was a shovel. But I've heard every single version of it. All right, we're going to research that.
Yes.
All right, on to the Super Bowl predictions. Predictions for the game. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? What's the score going to be? Omar, start us off.
Can we go back to this shuffle pass? Because
yes, we can.
there is a shuffle table, and on a shuffleboard. With a shuffleboard, you do kind of, you push a ball. You push, with the puck or
makes sense. I'm not on any side. I want to know. I want to know what this came from. So You're saying shuffleboard. Yes, that would be an argument for it. All right.
Well, let's go on. Predictions.
Okay, predictions. Go ahead, Omar. Who's going to win? What's the score going to be? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I'm going for the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to do it. I'm going to go Cincinnati 29, Rams 28. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 21. They're gonna win by 8. And I don't. But even though it's a one score difference with the 2 point conversion, of course, I don't think it's gonna be close a game.
Oh, so like garbage time touchdown for the
Garbage,
Rams?
a garbage touchdown. Yeah.
All right.
That's
I'm
interesting.
I'm writing that down. Bengals 29-21, garbage time
And
TD for the Rams.
and Joe Burrow is MVP.
Wow. Burrow MVP. Okay, solid pick. All right, D, your Super Bowl prediction.
I'm gonna go with what everybody thinks, right? Um, I think Cincinnati has been playing well above what they really are. Um, they get skunked, not zero skunked, but meaning they're gonna get their butts kicked. I think it's gonna be something like, to be honest with you, like a 31-10 type of score, and it's gonna be like a boring game. We're gonna be getting drunk by the middle of the third quarter. I may not.
It's gonna be an interesting Zoom.
I may not make the Zoom because I'll be wasted somewhere. Right?
You can
But
just
I
put
think
your head down as long as you are still in the meeting. It's fine with me.
I'll be doing the Zoom from my phone, just laying on my back like this. I think it's going to be some type of 30, and it's going to be like, hey, the Bengals got that taste of getting there, but they got that taste of really getting their butts kicked. They know what they need to do. This is not the last time we see the Bengals in the Super Bowl, but I think they get their asses kicked 31-10.
Yeah, it'll be like one of those things where Joe Burrow takes the team for like one huddle, like while the Rams are celebrating, and he's like, "Take a look at them, look at them."
And it could even be a point to where like the Bengals jump out like 10-0. You know what I mean? Where they jump out quickly, and we think that they're going to run away with it, but then the tides turn and the Rams kick some ass.
Okay. I'm going to go with a similar pick. I say the Rams are going to win, but they're going to have to come from behind to win this game. So I say the Rams are going to have to come back from at least 10 points to win this game. Okay. So I'm going to go Rams, but they got to come back.
I just think that NFC West was such a brutal league this year, division this year.
It was.
Their defenses are on point. They can play offense. And I get it, you know, what's it called? Can play offense also, but Burrow gets sacked way too many times, and that's the strength of the Rams, that defensive front. So I think it's, and then you got Jalen Ramsey back there. So I mean, I like the Bengals. I wouldn't mind seeing them win, but I think they're just a little bit over their head.
Yeah, this is a fun Super Bowl. I'm going to be happy for whichever team wins.
Yeah.
So, and then vice versa, I'm going to be a little sad for whichever team loses too.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah.
All right, no legal ramifications questions this week. I replaced it with a different question for each of you. Start with you, Omar. What is your earliest Super Bowl memory? What was the first Super Bowl that entered your head? How did you react to it? What were your questions?
I became a football fan. I became a Niners fan with the 88 team that beat the Bengals, but I became a football fan with the first Super Bowl. I remember sitting from beginning to end, Doug Williams lighting up the Denver Broncos in the second quarter, and Washington Redskins. That's right, the Redskins, not the Commanders.
The commies? The Commodores?
The Commodores. It was the Washington Redskins, 42-10. And I think like Elway was winning, like you're saying, 10-0.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Elway had a lead. And that was this vaunted Orange Crush defense. And we're talking 5 touchdown passes in the second quarter by Doug Williams. Nothing's ever been done like it since. And so that was my first Super Bowl memory.
Was that 89?
It was the 87 season. Super Bowl was played in 88.
Yeah.
What about you, D? Earliest Super Bowl memory?
The 90 season, the Giants Bills first year. That's my earliest that I remember. I think that was 90.
It was
That
a
was
90 season.
90
It was
season
90
in
season played
91.
in 91
Yeah.
January when we were at the height of desert.
Desert Storm.
We were about to start Desert Storm.
Yep. I was 8 years old at the time. I mean, I think that's my earliest memory of a Super Bowl. I can't. I vaguely remember the Redskins just because it was a big deal because they had Doug Williams as a starting quarterback. I think that was the first time a black starting quarterback had ever won the Super Bowl. So I remember.
I think that was the
because-
first. I think that was the first starting quarterback, a black starting quarterback.
Right. Yeah, and a Super Bowl.
Where'd you watch the
that.
game?
At home. At home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
My earliest Super Bowl memory
Could have been
was
at your house, by the way, because you guys used to throw Super Bowl parties all the time.
Yeah. Well, you know my parents, they love parties. My parents are a couple of big yentas. They love a party. My earliest Super Bowl memory is it's Washington, Denver, but I didn't watch it. I remember I got into football and collecting football cards, and they would be talking about that game like it had already happened, and I would think like, okay, what's going on? This is what's going on. These are the teams. Okay, I'm all in. Now I want to watch this season, and I want to see what's going on. Yeah, like we would collect football cards like Omar has.
Yeah,
I'm back. I'm back.
You're back on the football cards.
Hey, PAT, what?
I'm back.
What was that? What was that picture of you in who was wearing the Joe Montana jersey? And
it'd be Omar.
Who else would it have been? Who else would it have been?
That was you and Omar, right? There's a picture of you and Omar in your football uniforms.
Yeah.
There's probably a picture of me and Omar as little kids wearing football uniforms.
I think Patrick had the Marcus Allen.
Right. I would have had my Marcus Allen Raiders jersey.
And I think Steve had the Jim Everett.
Right. My brother Steven would have had Jim Everett Rams. Yeah.
You should have told your mom to send you that picture. Make sure.
I'll look for that
next week. Yeah.
I'll look for that picture.
That's a good picture.
Yeah. My earliest memory would be realizing that a Super Bowl had already happened. And then thinking like, all right, well, when's this Super Bowl coming? Oh, it happens in January. And you're like, okay, great. I'm all in. And then that would have been the 49ers Bengals Super Bowl following. And then that was the start of me following football. So it was almost like the Redskins Broncos Super Bowl was like in a history book. I was like, what happened?
What's so funny to me about the Super Bowl, I can tell you ever since that Super Bowl, I'm talking about the Redskins Broncos. I can tell you every Super Bowl since then where I watched the Super Bowl. It's crazy. We don't have time, but I can tell you exactly where I was when that Super Bowl happened.
Well, a question for next week when we do the season finale is maybe most memorable Super Bowl viewing. And then I wrote this down for next week, your least favorite Super Bowl moment or the Super Bowl you forgot. Because there's a couple Super Bowls where it's hazy with me. I didn't care about any of the teams. The Super Bowl sucked.
College years. College years.
Might happen in college, yes.
We'll talk about it, but I remember the two most disappointing Super Bowls. The Broncos Seahawks was just so awful to watch. And then that 2000 Ravens defense that just
I remember that.
That was a bad Super Bowl.
Laid the hammer on the Giants.
Yeah. That was a bad Super Bowl. Yep. I watched that in my dorm room. Well, that was the Sunday night talk for the week before the Super Bowl. We made our picks. We did the Bradys. We talked about early Super Bowl moments. Omar is not drinking. Gentlemen, next week the Super Bowl's here, the season finale.
Let's go.
We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good week. Okay, that is it. That is the show. That is the Sunday night talk. I want to thank Demonte Williams. I want to thank Omar Carmona for discussing everything, and I mean everything. Didn't we cover a lot of ground? Brady, Goodell, best moments, least favorite moments, what ifs? How many what ifs can you come up with? So many. Where does this go? Where does anything go? I don't know what's real anymore. Hey, don't forget February 11th, that's this Friday, 9:30 p.m. Catch me doing live stand-up comedy right here on the West Coast, Burbank, California, to be more specific. flapperscomedy.com is where you go, or directly to me. I'll get you in there. That's right. Hey, what a show. Are you ready for the Super Bowl? I bet you are. I know I am. I have to collect my thoughts. I need to get myself in gear. I need to prepare my food as well. And I'm ready to watch. I hope you are too. For the Sunday Night Talk, for me, Patrick Ramirez, Omar Carmona, Diamante Williams, enjoy the game, everybody. We will see you next Sunday night.